Hello there, my fascinating Renaissance friends. It's episode 91. Right? Now, the tale of two friends. A tale of two friends. Okay? Friend A says to uh, a friend, not friend B, but they are two friends. Okay, two friends talking to their friends. Okay, friend A says, "Gee, I'm bored. I'm really, really bored." And the friend says, "Well, that's bad, isn't it? That's bad. You shouldn't be bored." Okay. Friend B tells another friend, "Okay, gee man, I'm bored." And the friend says, "Great, then you can start getting better. Great, then you can start, living." Says, let me ask you, which one are you? Are you the friend of friend A? When your friend tells you, "Gee, I'm bored," he says, "Whoa, that's not good. That's bad. All right, you have a problem." Or you are the friend of friend B, and says, "Great, then you can start growing. Then you can start having a life." And these are two different, responses, isn't it? You know. Okay, I just read an article. I just don't. I think it's the author. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure. I haven't checked it out. Just remembered it now. Okay, David Epstein, right? A very, very profound author and writer. He said in a podcast that boredom actually is a gateway, you know, to creating genius. Can you imagine that? Want to be a genius? Be bored. Okay, it's a gateway. Well, these are not his exact words. Okay, I'm just paraphrasing based on what I remember. Okay, boredom is a gateway to being a genius. Gateway is also a gateway for doing something creative and innovative, and boredom can also help with developing greater cognitive functioning. Cognitive means thinking. So if that is the case, why are people so scared of being bored? That's why they will do anything and everything, not to be bored. And of course, the ubiquitous way, okay, that they found out is what? Scrolling. You're waiting for your ride. Scroll, scroll, scroll because you don't want, to be bored waiting for your bus. Okay, you are waiting in the doctor's office, for your appointment. What do you do? Oh, you scroll, 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 scroll there. Why? You cannot. Okay, you cannot live with the silence and the boredom of your hands not doing anything, and you not looking anywhere. You just look. You can't stand boredom. Really? When it's supposed to be, why did David, Epstein said that? Because according to him, boredom is needed for your brain to start thinking about something you have not thought before. That's why it's a gateway to being a genius. Because if you're bored, you say, "My gosh, I forgot my phone, I'm not gonna scroll." Okay, you start reminiscing, you start thinking, what if, what if I can make this smaller? What if this particular vase, where you put the flowers on, okay? You say, what if I can just make it, this shape? That's where your mind is free to think of the uncanny things. But if it is always, filled with something you do mindlessly, then, okay. So let's see what psychology says about boredom. Boredom is unused, okay? Creative energy. There you have it. So what David Epstein is saying is backed by research, backed by science. Boredom is unused creative energy. It's not that there's nothing to do, it's that your brain wants something meaningful. Okay? Can we say that again? Can we wrap our head around that? Boredom is unused creative energy. Okay, it's not that there's nothing to do. Because I'm bored, there's nothing to do. Okay, it's just that your brain wants to do something meaningful. There you go. Okay, some people don't always, they don't even want a free time for their brain because they start thinking of their problems. Like, I don't want to think I'm sick. I don't want to think that I'm I don't my back book only has 100 pesos that they don't want to even think of that. But you need that to say, okay, why am I in this dark place or a bad place in quotation marks? Most people say, oh, I'm in a bad place now, meaning they're having a problem. Okay, why am I in this bad place? What brought me here? Maybe because because we lack budgeting and things like that. We don't even have time to reflect and change, So that's why maybe it's about time, we get more bored. Why? Because we start thinking about getting better, solving our problems, creating something that's meaningful. Okay? Right? So being bored is not something to dread. Your mind wants you to be free from doom scrolling, mindless scrolling, and wants you to think of ways to become what? Wealthy, to become healthy, to live the good life, okay, to come up with great ideas, things like that. All right. And then the last emotion. This is not the last of our emotions, but it's the last emotion that I would like to tackle in this reframing, exercise that we've been doing is disappointment. Okay, what disappoints you, really? Okay, I'm disappointed, with this person. Why are you disappointed with this person? Oh, I'm disappointed because I thought, okay, she is my friend. I realized because of what she did. Okay, she was not really my friend. She was just taking advantage of my kindness all these years. So I'm very, very disappointed. All right, so okay, that's for me. I get disappointed if people don't live up to my expectations, or I get disappointed if things turn out differently. Well, normal human being, right? Let's see what psychology has to say. Disappointment is a sign that something didn't meet your expectations. There you go. As simple as that. Okay? Things did not meet your expectations. Then maybe okay, so what should we do? It says here, adjust, don't shut down. Meaning, I'm disappointed, that's it. Okay, that's it. Okay, I'm not going to do anything. No, adjust. Okay, this is where another lesson I've learned. Okay, I told you I read a lot of books, huh? Okay, this book I did a seminar on this. Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Okay, so and this is a very good how do you call this concept, or very good theory, about the circle of concern and the circle of influence. Something like the idea of be proactive. Proactive is before something happens, you should be ready, okay, with how you will respond, or with contingent plans. Okay, this is really for business. Okay, so he simply said, tell the difference between things which you can control and the things that you cannot control. All right, and he had this, he has these two circles, a small circle in the middle, and then a big circle there. Okay, so he said, and then he said that the small circle here, okay, will represent the things you can control. You have control. Okay. And the big circle will represent the things you cannot control. So we start with a big circle because there are a lot more things we cannot control. We cannot control the weather. We cannot control to what's happening outside there politically. We cannot control the war. We cannot control, okay, the what's this? We cannot control the earthquake. Huh? Like I am taping this. I'm taping this ahead. And so 3 days ago, there was a 7.7 earthquake that struck Myanmar. And it was so strong that it also affected Thailand. You have buildings collapsing. Okay, it also, it was also felt, in China. Okay, and, we cannot control that tectonic plates movement. We cannot control it. Okay, of course, the Japanese, proactively designed homes which can withstand, earthquakes because Japan is prone to earthquakes. Okay, so they have adjusted. Okay, all right. What else can we not control? Of course, floods and all of that. What can we control? It says that number one. Okay, number one, the response. Okay, if it happens, our response, we can control that. Okay, we can prepare for it, like in the Philippines, they're saying, that we're also part of the Pacific earthquake belt. And in the Philippines, where we live, the Philippines, the place where we live, okay, it's supposed to, it's under, some of those plates. So when we get the big one in the Philippines, in an area where we live, okay, we should be ready for it, okay? So we prepare for it, okay? We adjust our life to it, right? Because this is a place we call home. We just couldn't live it. We built our house here. Okay, my husband built our house here with those in mind. The earthquake will come. But how can we make our house, okay, sway with the earthquake, either sway left to right, left to right, right to left, or how can it withstand if it's if it's shaking up and down, okay, so structural engineer, check on it and things like that. Adjust. All right. If we don't feel disappointed, it's maybe because we never really have expectations in the first place. If we have very, very low expectations, okay, and because they're so low, the bar is set so low that you have no other, that you can meet it every time, that there will be no disappointment. Maybe, that's one way, lower your expectations. I wouldn't do that if, me, I wouldn't lower my expectations because a high bar, a bar set higher pushes us, to grow more. So I would just have to adjust to it and prepare for it. Okay, then there you go, my friends. This reframing, this understanding emotions, so that we can transform and revolutionize our life, are there for you. Again, engage with me, put your comments down there, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, until then, goodbye.